shapes on the sheet are based on cylindrical forms, apart from the cube up here and the rectangular block. So in order to create these forms, the best method to use is a revolve profile. In order to do that, what we need to do is firstly add a sketch onto this plane. So we're going to click on sketch, we're going to add the sketch to the front plane like we did earlier. Press N on your keyboard to present that in a 2D view, and let's zoom in. So if you want to create a revolve, then what we need to do, always have, is a center line. And when we've sketched our shapes, we've sketched them with a center line. So I'm going to use a straight line. I'm going to draw a straight line down approximately where the center line was. Then I'm going to continue, because it wants to continue, I'm going to continue to draw half the shape. So I want the bottom line here to be horizontal, so it snaps to be horizontal, rather than trying to match my sketch. The sketch will not be perfectly correct. So let's add a line, let's add a vertical line, which is again what it wants to do naturally. So we make a decision, and then we want a horizontal line. Now my recommendation is not to join it to the top, but to go through the line, making sure it's horizontal, and click once again. Then press escape. Once we've got our sketch, what we then tend to do is trim our sketch. So we use the trim tool, and we cut any stray lines off, lines that we no longer need. So this is what we need here as our section. And then the next stage that we need to do is to measure it. And if I notice now, if I zoom in, you'll see that there is still a little bit of a stray line. It's always worth zooming in to check for things like that. So I'm going to chop that away. So I've just got my rectangle. I'm then going to dimension it. And if you remember, we calibrated the sheet at 70. So I'm going to change my measurement to 70. It doesn't seem to change because it's only changed the whole shape by less than ½ millimeter. I'm then going to measure this line here. And now I want to try and make it a whole number. So I could go with 25, so it's ever so slightly smaller than sketch, or I could have gone to 26. That is down to you. Then I'm going to accept my sketch. I'm going to spin it round in 3D by holding down the right mouse button, and I'm going to choose Revolve. And in this revolve here, we're on a solid revolve. We firstly need to pick the sketch, faces and sketches. So we'll pick that sketch. So now this has just turned red. So this has gone blue, saying this is what we've selected. This is red, and it's asking where is the axis line. So we want this as our axis line. So I'm going to click in it, and I'm going to click on my axis, and then you will see, you'll get a preview like that, which shows what's happening is it's revolving this section around this axis. So we'll accept. So now I'll show you one of the slightly more complex ones. So we'll just put our work to the front here, just so you can see it. So we'll quickly model something like this. So new sketch on the front plane. Let's add our sketch in. So remember, we start with a center line. So I'm going to do a center line all the way down to the bottom there. Then I'm going to press escape and come out. And then I'm going to just pick lines that I want to cross my center line. So I'm going to click one here, and I'm going to deliberately horizontal line going across it. Press escape. Again, I'm going to draw another line. So I could press L on my keyboard. Now I'm going to go up approximately. So again, I want that vertical line. Again, we'll go across. I want the horizontal line. I'm going to zoom out. So we'll go up approximately, perhaps here. And remember, we're going to dimension this afterwards. Now, I don't try and draw this part because this is a separate extrusion. So let's go through my work, press escape, and of course now what we can do, just zoom in. So you notice here at the top that it's just missed. So I can do one or two things. I can either extend this line or I can reduce this line. So there's my decision. Then I'm going to trim my shape. So let's trim this line. Let's cut those away. I'm going to zoom into the bottom. There we go, trim those two. Let's come back out. I'm going to accept my sketch. I'm going to choose Revolve. I'm going to revolve there around my axis, just like I've done previously. So let's accept that. Then I want to draw this cylindrical part. So for this one, what I need to do is do a new sketch, but this time I don't actually have a center line on here. So I'm going to sketch again on the front plane. I'm going to draw a straight line approximately where the middle of this will be. I'm going to go into my work. There's a horizontal line. Let's go down, across, and up, like so. Now what I'm ready to do is to revolve it. But just before I do, what I didn't do with the other one was dimension it. I'm going to show you how you can change that. I'm just going to make this a little bit more precise with my measurements. Okay, and then if I press escape, I can always move a little bit by hand if I wanted to, or click undo if something goes wrong. As you see, when I try to move it there, it disappears. So let's just undo that. See if I can move that one. There we go. We'll just move that one in the way. So let's accept that. Let's revolve, spin it round. What do I want to do? I want to revolve that. But this time, I'm just going to revolve it. I'm going to pick one of the edges. And let's accept. And now you can see, okay, we've got our shape. One of the things we can do is go back to our sketch here, sketch 3. If I choose right mouse click and choose edit, one of the things that I can do is just zoom in, press the dimension tool, and I can then individually change and dimension parts. Accept,